In a remote corner of the world, there lay a vast, ancient forest known as Whispering Woods. This forest was no ordinary place, it was shrouded in legends and tales of supernatural occurrences. Locals whispered that the trees spoke to each other in eerie, hushed tones, and that the spirits of the long-deceased lingered among the gnarled roots and twisted branches. Amelia, a fearless young woman with a passion for adventure, was drawn to the tales of Whispering Woods. She had heard stories of a hidden treasure buried deep within the heart of the forest. With a determination fueled by greed, she set off on a crisp autumn morning, her backpack filled with supplies, and a map handed down through generations. As Amelia ventured deeper into the woods, the daylight faded, and a foreboding chill crept through the air. The tall trees cast long, menacing shadows, and a ghostly mist swirled at her feet. But she pressed on, driven by the allure of riches untold. Hours turned into days as Amelia lost herself in the labyrinthine maze of Whispering Woods. The trees seemed to conspire against her, their branches reaching out to ensnare her, their whispers growing more sinister by the minute. She heard faint cries that sounded like the distant wails of lost souls, but she dismissed them as her imagination. One night, as the moon hung low in the sky, Amelia stumbled upon an ancient, crumbling cabin, its windows boarded up, and its roof sagging under the weight of years. Despite her better judgment, she decided to seek shelter there, and she forced her way inside. The interior of the cabin was just as decayed as the exterior. Cobwebs draped the corners, and the air was heavy with an oppressive silence. Ignoring the ominous signs, she laid down her sleeping bag and tried to sleep, but the forest had other plans. In the dead of night, Amelia was awakened by the creaking of the cabin's wooden floor. She strained her eyes against the darkness, only to see a pale figure standing in the doorway. It was a woman, her eyes hollow, and her skin ashen. She whispered, "You shouldn't be here." Before Amelia could react, the woman vanished into thin air. Terrified but resolute, Amelia decided to leave the cabin at first light. As dawn broke, she gathered her belongings and headed for the exit, but the door slammed shut with a force that sent a shiver down her spine. Trapped inside the cabin, Amelia felt the malevolent presence of the forest closing in around her. The walls seemed to pulse with an unnatural energy, and whispers filled the air, growing louder and more deranged. She realized that the forest itself was alive, and it hungered for something she could never understand. Days turned into weeks, and Amelia's sanity began to unravel. She heard the voices of the forest whispering secrets that were never meant for human ears. The ghostly woman appeared again, warning her to turn back, but it was too late. Amelia was no longer in control of her own destiny. Whispering Woods had claimed another victim, and her story would join the countless others, lost to the horrors that lurked within the ancient, haunted forest.